From Tokyo, Japan and Abu Dhabi, UAE, this is Down to Business English, business news to improve your business English, with your hosts Skip Montreux and Dez Morgan.
Hello, Dez. Good to be sitting down with you again.
Thanks, Skip, and it's good to be here recording with you again.
How are things?
Better. Work has slowed down for the summer session, and we're just ending Ramadan at the moment, so not a lot happening. It's quickly coming to a close, though.
Ramadan, that is when people of the Muslim faith fast during the day.
That's right. No eating or drinking during daylight hours. So this year, that's from around 5 a.m. to 7 p.m. and it's 35 to 40 degrees in the middle of the day.
Wow, that can't be easy. So they do this so that everyone can appreciate what it is like not to have enough food?
Yes, Ramadan lasts for around 1 month and people are supposed to fast so that they can empathize with those that don't have enough to eat. However, during the evening, they eat and drink with family and friends, so it's actually a month of celebration, really.
So I'm guessing that all of the cafes and restaurants around you, or in the whole city, are closed during the day.
Yeah, a few stay open, but they black out the windows. But not many are open, to be honest, so for non-Muslims, it's quite a difficult month, as there's not a lot to do in the daytime.
I can imagine.
It does make you realise how much of our social lives revolve around food and drink, though. Just think, if you want to meet up with a friend, what's the first thing you say?
I say, hey, do you want to grab a drink or a coffee?
Or if you need to meet up with someone through work?
Oh, I say, let's do lunch. I know a great place.
Maybe something a bit more intimate with that someone special in your life.
Hey, beautiful. How about a dinner out sometimes?
Skip, you're so smooth.
Really? I've been told differently.
Well, all of those everyday choices involve food and or drinks. Apart from that last one, of course, as there's nothing every day about an intimate dinner with Skip.
Very funny.
It is this age-old social custom that we have to eat and drink together that has launched empires of every type of restaurant, from fast food all the way up to fine dining.
And everything in between.
It is a British chain of restaurants that falls between those two extremes that is our topic for today. So Skip, have you heard of any British celebrity chefs?
Oh, who is that Scottish guy? The one who swears all the time.
Gordon Ramsay, yes, he's quite a character. Any others?
Well, the only other celebrity chef I have seen is the one who had a TV show or something, where he tried to get school children to eat healthier food.
That was a mini documentary called School Dinners, and the chef is Jamie Oliver. Well, he and his chain of restaurants are the subject of our show today.
Sounds good. Let's do it. Let's get D2B, down to business, with casual dining chains. Who are they? Why are they doing badly in the UK? And why is Jamie's Italian the latest to find itself in trouble?
Let's start off by defining what is meant by casual dining. Casual dining is a term that started in the US to describe chain restaurants that serve higher quality food than your traditional fast food restaurant, like McDonald's. Popular American chains are Olive Garden, Tony Roma's, P.F. Chang's, and the Hard Rock Cafe.
We have the Hard Rock Cafe here in Japan, but I'm not so sure about the others.
Actually, we have all of them here in the UAE.
And are they profitable businesses?
Not especially. Although business picked up for some of the lower-priced casual dining restaurants in the last quarter of 2018, the sector overall has been struggling for the last few years.
And that was in the US?
Yes.
I'm guessing the situation is the same in the UK.
No, it's much worse. People are not feeling very secure, so spending on eating out has been falling.
That is probably because of Brexit.
Brexit is a contributing factor for sure. Plus, restaurant chains are under pressure from new laws and legislation. The UK government introduced a new minimum wage last year, which is pushing up labour costs. There's a new tax called the apprenticeship levy, where businesses with annual wage bills of over £3 million have to contribute towards apprenticeships for young people.
Well, that sounds like a positive idea anyway.
It could be, but it is still another tax that chain restaurant owners need to pay. Other factors that have increased costs have been the falling pound, making imported ingredients more expensive. Rents have continued to rise, and many analysts believe there are just too many restaurants.
Okay, so who are the big players in the UK casual dining market?
The big chains in the UK are Café Rouge, Prezzo, Wagamama, and to a lesser extent, Jamie's Italian.
And how are they faring in this economic climate?
Let's start out with Café Rouge, as it's probably the chain with the most outlets. Although like-for-like sales were up 2% in 2018, profits fell drastically, resulting in a £60 million loss for 2018.
Ouch! And how about the others?
Prezzo restructured towards the end of 2018, closing over 100 outlets, but it's still facing challenges ahead. Karen Jones, the executive chairman of the group, said that the chain's previous strategy of expansion is over, and their new strategy will be consolidation and a new menu designed to retain the customers they already have.
And Wagamama? Which I need to point out, in Japanese means selfish or disobedient.
I know. For anyone who doesn't know, Wagamama is a noodle place that's pretty popular. They sold out last year to the restaurant group, who run more than 650 restaurants across Britain.
And was that a good acquisition for the restaurant group?
Well, Wagamama had been outperforming other restaurants in the sector, but some analysts felt that the £559 million price they paid was on the high side.
£559 million. That's pretty steep. So let's get to Jamie's Italian. What happened there?
When the first one opened in Oxford in 2008, it got great reviews. The general consensus was good food, fresh ingredients, and reasonable prices. Jamie Oliver said that he intended to expand from there, the intention of positively disrupting mid-market dining in the high street in the UK with great value and much higher quality ingredients, best-in-class animal welfare standards, and an amazing team.
Well, it sounds like to me he had big plans to shake up the industry.
He did. And it could be that he expanded too quickly, losing some control over quality in the process. Listen to this review of a dish of tagliatelle with truffles from a food critic recently. Appalling. A honking salty swamp of sauce, brown and dusty with nutmeg, tiny chunks, not shavings, of tasteless black truffle lurk around like mouse poos in soup.
Oh God, that really doesn't sound very nice. Maybe that was Gordon Ramsay.
I don't think so. Now, fast forward 8 months from that review till today, and you might not be surprised to hear that Jamie's Italian has gone into administration with the likely loss of over 1,000 jobs.
When you say gone into administration, you mean they have filed for bankruptcy?
Yes, in Britain we commonly say gone into administration. A few of the restaurants have remained open, but the rest have closed their doors.
That sounds kind of sad, really.
It gets more complicated, though, as the British newspaper, the Daily Telegraph, reported that Oliver provided personal guarantees to lending giant HSBC and food distributor Brakes.
So what does that mean exactly?
It would allow them to claim against him personally for any unpaid bills, and HSBC alone is owed £37 million. The properties, machinery and stock have some value, but Jamie Oliver himself could be held accountable for the loans.
So he could potentially be wiped out financially.
He does seem to be in a tight spot, that's for sure.
I guess that's why they say, never mix business and pleasure.
Well, we're all business here at D2B.
Well, except when we are getting D2V down to vocabulary.
Down to Business English audio scripts are a great learning tool. Be sure to visit the D2B website and download your free audio script of today's podcast. downtobusinessenglish.com. That's www.downtobusinessenglish.com.
I will start D2V today with the verb to empathize, which means to put yourself into another person's place to understand how they must feel. In the story, Dez said that during Ramadan, Muslims fast to help them empathize with the poor. In other words, fasting helps them understand what it feels like to not have the financial resources to eat well.
I often tell my students that if they can't understand something, I can empathize, as I'm really bad at learning languages.
I remember how bad your Japanese was.
Well, it certainly hasn't gotten any better.
Mine is not very good either. In a business context, it is crucial to empathize with the other party when you are in negotiations. That way, you are sure to make a deal that has the best interests of both parties in mind.
Yes, empathizing is important to achieve a win-win situation. Moving on, we have the adjective contributing, which means to add to the situation but not be the sole cause of it. In the story, I said that Brexit was a contributing factor in the fall of profits in the casual dining sector, but it was not the sole cause.
There is the verb to contribute as well, and that means to give or to add to something. In some companies, employees can contribute to a private pension scheme that pays out when they retire.
And the noun form is contribution. Hey Skip, would you like to make a contribution to the retired podcasters' pension fund?
Sure. Next, we have the business expression like for like, which means to compare two things that are the same. In the story, Dez said that like-for-like sales had risen at Café Rouge in 2018. In other words, compared to sales in 2017, they were up. But overall profits were down.
It's important when you compare two or more costs or prices that you are comparing the same goods or services. Air travel is a good example of this. Although a discount airline may at first appear cheaper, once you add in booking and baggage fees, cost may be more than a traditional carrier. In short, you need to compare like for like.
Another way to say that is you need to compare apples with apples.
That's a more casual way to say the same thing, yes. Now, I would like to talk about the noun consensus. A consensus is when people have a general agreement on a topic. In the story, I said that the consensus opinion of Jamie's Italian restaurant in the beginning was very high. In other words, most people agreed that it was a very good restaurant.
If you were reporting to someone about a meeting you had attended, you could use consensus to indicate the opinion that most people in that meeting held.
Okay, can you give us an example?
Well, we recently had a meeting at work to discuss whether a new client was too far away from Tokyo to send a teacher.
And what was the consensus?
Unfortunately, opinions were split, so a consensus could not be reached.
Yeah, that often happens.
So we ended up doing what our boss told us to do.
That often happens too.
Our final word today is the adjective appalling. When something is appalling, it causes shock or dismay. In the story, Dez read a recent review of Jamie's Italian that described the food as appalling.
Not great for a business to get a review like that.
Not at all.
I once had the misfortune of flying Ryanair. Ask me how the customer service was.
Okay, Dez, how was the customer service?
Appalling. They didn't communicate anything, made us wait outside in the cold, and seemed to be trying to make the experience as bad as possible.
Well, that will teach you for being cheap.
Would you like to support Down to Business English? Be sure to visit the D2B page in iTunes and subscribe to this show. While you are there, why don't you leave a rating and a comment? This will help D2B reach more people wanting to improve their business English skills. Down to Business English. Business news to improve your business English.
Thank you, Dez, for that report on the casual dining sector in the UK. It will make me think twice the next time I eat out.
My pleasure, Skip. It was difficult to research about all these restaurants while everything around me was closed. I found myself always getting hungry for some reason.
The sacrifice you make for the show, I can empathize.
Just trying to make my contribution for the listeners.
And I am sure the consensus among them is that they highly appreciate it.
Well, that's nice to hear.
Just before we finish today, I want to take a moment to encourage listeners to sign up for a D2B membership.
Great idea.
If you find listening to Down to Business English useful in your English studies, I highly recommend becoming a member.
As a member, you get members-only podcasts and have access to our entire audio script library of 161 episodes and growing.
And when a new episode is released, we send you the audio script to that show right to your inbox, literally within minutes.
And how convenient is that?
I personally think it is one of the best benefits.
And on top of all of that, your membership helps to produce more D2B content.
Absolutely. The more members we have, the more shows and other language learning products we can produce.
And how does one become a member exactly?
It's easy. Just visit the Down to Business English website at downtobusinessenglish.com, click on the members link at the top of the page, and choose the plan that fits your budget.
One more time, that's downtobusinessenglish.com.
Thanks for listening, everyone. See you next time.
Bye-bye.
Have a comment or question about today's show? Don't be shy. Visit the D2B website or the Facebook page and post any comments or questions there. Skip, Des, or Samantha will be sure to leave a reply. Want to get even more down to business English? Sign up for the D2B newsletter and receive updates on some of the stories covered on Down to Business English. That's www.downtobusinessenglish.com. Down to Business English. Business news to improve your business English.